Very nice aroma. Now, the reason I chose this wine kit is it's the #1 Moscato and #8 overall for Winemaker's Top 100 Kits of 2023. Not to mention, the Life Boss's favorite wine is Moscato. Now, this is my first wine kit from RJS. I have done a different RJS kit before, but that was kind of more like a cooler. Their Orchard Breezing kit. What I kind of liked about this kit is it has some additions like the tea bag. That's new for me. Overall, the whole startup of this kit seemed really simple, straightforward. As usual, swish with the bag, get all the goodness in there. The tea bag and the container, I rinsed it out and put everything into the primary here. Didn't want to miss out on any flavor. Don't forget to get your hydrometer reading and record that so we can figure out the alcohol percentage later on. Then just a sprinkle of your standard EC 118 yeast, and it goes on to the heated tile floor for its fermentation phase. Now, what's different with this kit for day number 14, instead of like a day 14 and a day 15, all the racking, stabilizing, back sweetening, it's just everything happens on this day. So that's kind of nice. I was a little bit concerned that the fermentation might start back up on it, but followed the instructions, when in doubt, and everything just turned out totally fine. So I had no problems there. I did also try on this kit to see if I could degas using a vacuum sealer. And nothing fancy here. I just used a bung that had a hole in it and cycled it a few times, and you can see that it degasses it pretty effectively. So for those of you that have a vacuum sealer kicking around, it's definitely a way that you can degas the wine. Now, because this was my first time degassing, I also did give it a stir before I added all the ingredients that you see me adding in here. There are 2 packages of back sweetening. Now, I suspect if you made this kit a few times and it was too sweet for you, you could optionally opt to add in the 1 reserve kit at the start and then just save 1 for sweetening it up later on. Now, somewhere between 3 and 5 days later, give your Carboy a twist, and that'll just get all the schmutz to fall off that's kind of stuck to the glass of your Carboy. The day before I do any racking, I like to lift my Carboy up on the countertop, and that's just so that any sediment that I do kick up in the movement has a chance to settle back down so I don't get that in the re-rack. Now, raising the Carboy in the last step, that was optional. That is not part of the instructions. I just feel like I get a cleaner wine, and I do like that part of the VineCo kit, so why not adopt it into the RJS kit here? It's just 1 extra racking. You can see the wine is already crystal clear and it looks really good. After polish, this stuff is going to be crystal clear to put in the bottles. Always makes you a little proud once you get like a nice clean wine. You can see I was pretty successful in getting just about everything out of the Carboy and managing to keep the wine clear. All right, so I've got everything set up here, and I'll take a look at the time right now. We'll use our trusty old microwave time. Showing 1:12 in the afternoon. I'm going to bottle up this whole Carboy worth, and we'll see how long it takes for those of you kind of interested in like a time frame of what this actually takes doing it by yourself. Total time to set everything up here and get it all ready was about, I'd say 5-6 minutes. Now, this was kind of for my own curiosity, the whole timing thing. I wasn't sure when I started making wine how much time I was going to end up sinking into this hobby. And it's more of a little here and there and less of a whole commitment. I think probably the primary and going into secondary, or your clearing, stabilizing, back sweetening, that's kind of where you sink the time. But even then, it's maybe an hour. hour and a half from setting everything up, getting everything opened up, reading the instructions, and actually executing them the way that they're supposed to be done. Another thing that I like to do is when I'm bottling as well, I do like to separate the first and last bottles, and that's just in case I've got any sediment or picked up any sediment or anything in the hose or in the bottom of the carboy, because I do just let that whole siphon go right to the bottom of the carboy. This is only something I started doing recently, and I don't think I did it in this batch. But it's something I'm going to definitely be doing. This way as well, if you have any cross-contamination or stuff like that, something that could make your wine go sour if it's aged too long, well, it's still going to be fine if you drink it right away. So why not just drink it right away, enjoy the wine, and then no harm, no foul. So from start to finish, it's basically the speed of the siphon, which ended up being 15 minutes exactly. And I'm just going to heat up the water on the stove and get those shrink caps on. Still getting used to the whole color of the caps thing. Some of them, they just shrink on differently, and you can kind of see it if you look closely at the seal where it meets the glass bottle there. Kind of bubbles on the blue. I also felt like some of these seemed to like want to jump off. I'm not sure what that was all about. If you've ever wondered what happens if you don't put the cap on all the way, well, there you go. Good thing I got one extra, so I'll fix that up. So as you can see, the time is 1:45 and everything is capped behind me and it's all said and done. So not too bad, just over half an hour to get these things all capped and bottled. And don't forget about the goodness at the bottom of the carboy. A little bit of sediment or whatever in there, otherwise really clear. And it also gives me a chance to taste this before it goes into aging. Very nice aroma. A little tart. This one's going to need some time in the bottle. And I suspect that's because of the tea that we made at the start of this kit. Not overly sweet. Nice flavor. The Vineco Moscato kit that I made is definitely a lot sweeter than this. This is kind of more like a semi-sweet, I would say, not like a full sweet. But so far, really good flavor. Yeah, I don't know, might need just a couple of months to age and mellow out just a little bit. But definitely a good wine. There's nothing wrong with it. And going to be quite enjoyable. My wife's favorite is Moscato, so you're definitely going to see a lot of Moscato wines on this channel. I'm very curious to see how this is going to compare to the Vineco kit after it's got some age on it. So maybe that's something I'll post back on the channel.